This is the Purple and Gold Hour, presented by the University of North Alabama Foundation. Your spotlight on the University of North Alabama, featuring conversations with UNA officials and friends of the university. This is your look inside campus. Now your host, the voice of the Lions, Benjamin Ray.
Hello and welcome into another great episode of the Purple and Gold Hour presented by the North Alabama Foundation, your inside look at the University of North Alabama. I'm your host, Benjamin Ray, and it's another football Saturday here in Florence, and today at Brawley Stadium, UNA is set to host Chattanooga in the second football game of the year. UNA is looking to bounce back after last weekend's 49-28 loss to Southeastern Louisiana, and Coach Chris Willis' team will be going up against yet another tough opponent and a nationally ranked team. In fact, 7 of UNA's 11 games this year are against teams that were ranked in the FCS preseason poll, so it's a super tough schedule in year 4, the final year of the Division I transition. We'll get more football talk here in just a little bit. Let's jump into this afternoon's Purple and Gold Hour. Today is more than a football game. It's a 9/11 remembrance, and UNA has a jam-packed ceremony to go with this afternoon's football game. It all started this morning at 6 a.m. with a stair run at Brawley Stadium hosted by the University of North Alabama Army ROTC. Also, pregame today, we'll see a flyover during the national anthem by a C-130 Hercules from the 908th Air Wing from Maxwell Air Force Base in Montgomery, as well as a halftime fireworks show by TNT Fireworks. Then, throughout the event, UNA will be recognizing active duty members of the military, veterans, National Guard, first responders, and healthcare workers for their roles, including among those honorees are several former Lions student athletes who went on to roles as first responders are in the military. So with that, we have a military-themed show. Major Rashawn Warren, the department chair of the UNA ROTC program, he'll kick things off for us, talking UNA ROTC. Megan Dye, Associate Athletic Director for Alumni, Annual Giving, and Marketing for the UNA Athletic Department, will join us. She'll give us a rundown of this afternoon's festivities. Doug McClain, the Coordinator of Military and Veteran Services at the University of North Alabama, he'll give us some great information. And finally, former North Alabama football player Chandler Carrera will join us on the phone lines to talk about his work with the Austin, Texas Police Department, some of the great things he's been doing. It's a jam-packed show. With that, we'll get into it. We'll keep the Purple and Gold Hour going when we return, presented by the North Alabama Foundation.
I knew I wanted to do engineering from Best Robotics that I was in high school. I kind of learned what engineering had to offer, and I knew I was good at problem solving and things like that, good at math and science and stuff. I came to UNA and figured out what it was, what it had to offer. After learning about the program, it was exactly what I wanted to do. This program really prepares you to go into the industry, and it is preparing me for exactly the types of jobs I want to do. The community here is definitely different than other programs. I can call up really any of my professors or email them or just step in their office and knock on the door, and they're always available. And it's really more conducive for learning than other programs where, you're in a huge class or something like that.
I really had some aspirations that maybe they'd go to school here as well, because we're both alumni. We're just thrilled to see all 3 of our boys in school here.
A view of UNA that I've run into a lot is people say it's just, it's your own backyard, or, it's a little hometown school or something like that. But every school is in somebody's backyard, and there are people that go here and get the exact same internships and the same opportunities, and if not more opportunities, because we're a local school. And it was just something that I knew was a great fit for me.
I've always had an affinity for medicine and taking care of people. I love taking care of kids. Doctors don't really get that personal connection with patients that a nurse would. And that's what I like the most, and that's what I want to provide for other people. I'm majoring in nursing. Specifically, I want to go into pediatrics. My professors here in the College of Nursing are the most amazing professors I've ever had. They actually care about their students. They have all these resources and all these ways of helping. UNA just really goes the extra mile to help students get to where they want to be in life.
This is the Purple and Gold Hour presented by the University of North Alabama Foundation, your spotlight, an inside look at the University of North Alabama. I'm Benjamin Ray, welcoming you back in on this football Saturday. We're set to host Chattanooga, September 11th, 6 p.m., Brawley Municipal Stadium, second game of the year. Of course, we'll get you to kick off here in just a little bit on WLX, the home of UNA Athletics. Don't forget that you can follow UNA Athletics on social media by searching for North Alabama Athletics on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find schedules, score updates, and other items to stay up to date with the University of North Alabama Athletic Department. Next up in our program, we're talking UNA ROTC with Major Rashawn Warren, the department chair of the ROTC program at the University of North Alabama. Major Warren, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You've been at North Alabama just a little bit over a year now, started last August. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
All right, my name is Rashawn Dwayne Warren. I am from Fort Worth, Texas. I went to Kent State University where I played Division I basketball, played in the NCAA tournament a couple times. I just had all a good time. From there, joined the Army. Then the Army, when I first joined, didn't really know a lot about the Army. I'm the first person in my family to join the Army. And from there, I ended up here. I spent some time as an air defense officer at Fort Hood, Texas. Then just moved on up the ranks, and now I'm the professor of military science here.
That's great. We're so happy to have you. Now, I got to talk a little bit about your athletic background at Kent State, playing in the NCAA tournament. We saw UNA men's basketball program playing the ASUN championship game last season, one game away from making the tournament. Of course, not eligible. We're wrapping up the transition. But for you as a student athlete, what are your memories of making the big dance?
I actually went to the big dance twice. So the first time went to the tournament. It was really exciting to sit down on Selection Sunday. We just won the Mid-American Conference Championship title. We were waiting to see how things were going to go. And then first year we got matched up with Temple in the first round. I think I was a sophomore that year. And then we unfortunately, we lost to Temple first round. My senior year, went and played in the tournament again. We played against Indiana in the first round, and we actually beat Indiana in the first round. Eventually, we lost to Cincinnati in the second round. But the memories that I have from that period of my life last a long time.
That's great. You learn something new every time you talk with somebody. I didn't know we'd end up talking about March Madness here. That's great. Let's jump into the UNA ROTC program, and let's just talk about some of the great things you have going on. First off, what does it take to be an ROTC cadet here at UNA?
I think the person that we're looking for is, someone who I believe that can succeed in ROTC is a student who wants something more than themselves. They want to get something extra out of the college experience. Like mostly student scholars that are, have a somewhat physical fitness acumen. But at the same time, if you don't have that, but you just have the willingness to serve, we can help develop that. We're a leadership organization. Everything that we do here focuses on creating a commissioned officer for the United States Army. And what a lot of people need to understand is that only 1% of Army service members are commissioned officer, and ROTC can provide that opportunity for them.
That's great. We're talking with Major Rashawn Warren, the department chair of the UNA ROTC program. All right, when you're talking to prospective students, pretend all of our listeners out there prospective students, what's your recruiting pitch?
Well, hey, usually I'd say, hey, do you want to do something greater than yourself? Do you want to leave your mark on the world when you leave? I can attribute it to myself. I tell a lot of people about my story. I'm the first person to ever join the military out of my family. They're kind of scared at first because it's the military. But as I progressed throughout the military and ultimately become a major, I think they looked at what I'm doing for the country as a whole. Also, if you go to ROTC, one of the things that you can get is you get scholarship. You get paid for it. A lot of people have problems trying to get through school. They're struggling, and the ROTC is also a way that you can do that. Now, you don't have to be an active duty soldier to actually be in ROTC. You could be in the reserves. You could be in the National Guard. If you're in the reserves or the Guard, you can still get your education paid for. If you're in the Guard, they'll actually pay for you to go to school. Only thing you owe them is you become an officer and you go back to what you were doing.
I think that's very great for a lot of people to know, and they may not be aware of all the scholarship opportunities. So you can come to school, get your school paid for, and do something that betters yourself.
Yes, absolutely. So, like, for instance, the National Guard guys and gals that come here, the National Guard pay for all of their school, and so they get paid while they're attending school, and that's their job, is just to be a student. Also, I get a little bit, people say, well, I really want to be this in life. They have that opportunity because ROTC is a minor, not a major. You still choose the thing that you want to do in life. And once you get into that, that's your life trajectory, and you continue to move forward.
That's great. Take us through what a typical day, a typical week looks like for a cadet.
Okay, so in the morning, starts in the morning, like 5:45, 6:06 in the morning. They wake up on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They do physical fitness training. Trying to build the mind, body, get more resilient. You need that to be a leader and be out front. Then throughout the day, they just go to their regular classes. How they scheduled them, only thing that we ask for them to do is like on Wednesdays from 1400 to 1600, which is really 2 o'clock to like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. On Wednesdays, we do what we call a lab. Most of our labs are out at Camp Westmoreland. We go out there, we train out in the woods, we do paintball to get them kind of used to running around, carrying a weapon. We do land navigation, have them find points out there. And then every other day, they're just out there just being a student again, going to class. Remember, RCC is just a minor, so they're out there doing the things that they need to do what benefits their life.
This is great information. We're talking about the ROTC program at the University of North Alabama with Major Rashawn Warren, starting his second year now at the University of North Alabama. And I want to talk this football Saturday specifically. It's been a busy day for you guys. The 20th anniversary of 9/11. I know the athletic department's planned a flyover, fireworks show, a great day of remembrance. You guys got started very early this morning. You ran 2,669 steps at Brawley Municipal Stadium in remembrance of all the steps inside the World Trade Center. Tell us about this morning and sort of what the cadets went through.
Yeah, so actually we're going to be running 2,996 steps in memory of each of the lives that were lost during the September 11th attacks. And I think it's important that we did that this morning because people need to know that we're still remembering those who lost their lives, still remembering the day that the country suffered this tragic event, but we were all able to still come together as one and still believe in each other and bring to bear who we really are as Americans. From there, we had at 8:30, we went and had a memorial event at the amphitheater where Mary Day spoke and gave her words of what happened during September 11th and how she felt and what it meant to her. After that, at 09, the cadets took the flags and they walked around campus in remembrance of those who lost their lives, so people around campus can see that ROTC is still showing that we still remember that day and giving them the opportunity to see that, hey, something happened and this is how we were going to remember them at a smaller level. It's important because a lot of the kids now weren't really born during that time, so they don't really have a lot going on except for what they remember was their parents may have said or where they were at during that particular time. And now at the game, Lister Hill Credit Union awarded us $500 to go to our cadets so we can help push forward some things that the cadets want to do with the ROTC program.
Seeing that support from Lister Hill, who's so great to the University of North Alabama, just how big is that contribution to your department?
It's huge because the cadets always want to do something that makes them feel good. And being able to get that $500 from Lister Hill allowed them to get some extra shirts, which they want to wear with ROTC and UNA on it, and have the military ball where they can bring their family and friends and have that thing paid for. We have money, we have people who donate to us all the time, but that was just something extra in the pot to help us get to some of the objectives that we wanted to get to.
Now, we're talking about Lister Hill giving your program money. If there's listeners out there that want to get involved and back the ROTC program, are there opportunities for them?
Oh, yeah. So you can go to the ROTC website. If you click into the UNA portal, you'll see ROTC. Click on ROTC, and it'll give you an option in order to donate any amount of money that you want. If not, you can call the number here, and we'll be able to help facilitate that if you're not able to get on there through the site. And the number here is 256-765-4453. Again, that number is 256-765-4453.
So you talked about some of the things the cadets did this afternoon. Now, for you as a member of the military, seeing all the activities, not just today, but every year on 9/11, how does it make you feel to see so many people come together and to commemorate so many that have given so much?
It makes me feel good. As an active duty service member, and who I actually wasn't in the military when it happened. I was just finishing up college, but I remember that day. I remember seeing those planes crash into the building, and I remember, I guess if you would say, the pandemonium that was happening around. But I also remember how everything calmed and everyone came together and we figured it out. I remember watching TV and watching the people trying to save others' lives out there and running around and risking their own lives, and those stories of the heroes that always existed but we never really noticed. I think it brought those guys out to light. And every year around this time, the people who still get out there and show their respect, it makes me feel very good.
It certainly does. That's a great way to sum it all up. We're talking with Major Rashawn Warren, a department chair of the University of North Alabama ROTC program. Now we got a few more things to talk about. You guys have a lot of community service initiatives you're working on, you're already doing. Tell us about some of the things you guys do out in the community.
One of the big partners that we partner with is the American Legion Post 11 here in Florence, Alabama. We go out there, they throw breakfast for us, and the cadets get an opportunity to go out there and talk to those who've served in the past, and those guys and gals who served in the past get to share the stories of what they saw when they were in the military. Also, we raised, we did a bottled water drive. At Post 11, the pipes don't really work there really well. So they usually use bottled water, things like that. So we were able to raise, I want to say, almost 1,000 individual bottled waters. And we took them out there, donated to them, packed them up. And I think that was like one of the biggest moments, because it was something that they really need. We didn't know that they needed it that much until they told us. They were like, hey, this has been like awesome for you guys to come through here with this. You don't know how much this really meant for us. I think it gave our young cadets a sense of community. The food pantry, we just collected some food a couple of days ago, and we're taking it out to the food pantry, which was raised by Cadet Hannah. It was her idea to get out there and be part of campus and get those things out there. And I think lastly, one of the things that we're working on in the future is reading at Kilby Elementary, creating a military partnership with them. They're all our partners. Everyone here on campus is our partner. But I think for the cadets to get out there and look at the young kids, and the young kids to also get a chance to look at people who are serving in the community, will give them a sense of being as well.
That's great news, Major Warren. Thank you so much for all this great information. Last thing for you. Listeners, anybody out there, they want to keep up with ROTC, find out what you guys are doing, how can they follow you guys?
You can follow us on a social media platform. You can go to UNA ROTC on Facebook. You can go to UNA_Army ROTC on the Instagram. Those are the primary platforms. The cadets use Instagram all day, so but we try to put every single thing that we do out there, every place that we go. We make sure that we throw that out there. But if not, you'll catch us in the community.
And we'll certainly see you at football games, doing all sorts of things. But we see you guys running the flags. How much fun do they have running those flags after scores, if you will?
Well, no, I think they really enjoy it. They get a chance to sit on the field, watch the football team from a different perspective, kind of interact with the football team as they're like going through warm-ups and everything, and they go in and come out from halftime. And after they score, running the flags, waving the flags in the center field at the 50-yard line is like awesome. And then the push-ups afterwards for every score. We get a chance to let them know, like, hey, we're physically fit also. I think that's just like one of the perks of being in this job as a cadet, getting a chance to actually be out on field and support the university.
That's great. Hopefully this evening against Chattanooga, they're doing a lot of push-ups.
Oh, yeah, hopefully. Hey, we're ready. We can do as many as we need to do.
That's Major Rashawn Warren. Thank you once again.
All right, thank you.
We'll take another time out. You're listening to the Purple and Gold Hour, presented by the University of North Alabama Foundation.
Not just on the field, but in the world around me. My high school Spanish teacher helped me find my true calling to educate and serve others all over the world. I used to think the biggest college was the best place to start, but my search brought me to North Alabama. At UNA, my story matters, and so does my calling.
I realized that there was a lot of just business, just the day-to-day business of the chamber that I did not feel particularly comfortable in. There was an opportunity at UNA to pursue my MBA and thought that it might be a really good idea just to bolster that side of my education. Professors were so understanding and willing to work with us. I realized then I had made the right choice, that UNA was the correct institution for me. I've never talked to anyone who's gone forward with their education who regretted that decision. It's not been easy every day, but totally worth it at all times.
With UNA being student-oriented, I know I will get smaller classes. The teachers are very dedicated in helping me understand the material. I feel like they really care that I succeed. If you're hesitant about whether you should or shouldn't get your master's, but you know that you want or need to, you should just do it, because you don't know where it's going to take you. And you don't know until you get on that path.
I came and visited UNA and I saw the atmosphere and the student life, which really fit me and I knew that I would be able to do once I got here at UNA. If I had to pick one thing about UNA that made me want to come here, it would just be campus and the life that you see on campus. With UNA just being so close, that's not what I thought that I wanted. And so when I came and I realized I'm still going to have the same opportunities as someone who went to a larger university, that was one of the things that drew me in.
This is the Purple and Gold Hour presented by the University of North Alabama Foundation. Your spotlight and inside look at the University of North Alabama. We'll keep things rolling before we get to our next guest. Here's a look at what's happening around UNA athletics this week, with football hosting Chattanooga at 6 p.m. tonight. We'll take a moment and share some things that are happening over the next couple of days. First, UNA Soccer returns home to the UNA Soccer Complex to host Alston P. Kickoff for that game is slated for 1 p.m. Volleyball has a very busy week. First off, on Sunday, they wrap up the Wofford Invitational in Spartanburg, South Carolina, with a match against the host team, Wofford. Then interim head coach Andrew Kroger and his team return home for one match. First, Tuesday night, taking on Alabama A&M, a 7 p.m. start. The Lions then have next weekend off. Be sure and come out to Flowers Hall. Cross country, fresh off hosting a home meet this past Friday, will once again host another meet next Friday. Both the men and women will head over to Huntsville for the North Alabama Showcase. A large turnout is expected, with UNA slated to host an NCAA regional later this season. The busy weekend continues as well. On Friday night, UNA Soccer will host Jackson State at 7 p.m. at the Bill Jones Athletic Complex. And then wrapping it all up, we'll head down to Jacksonville, Alabama. Football will take on Jacksonville State at 6 p.m. Of course, we'll have our typical pregame coverage beginning at 4 p.m. with the Purple and Gold Hour, followed by the Countdown to Kickoff show at 5 p.m. for a 6 p.m. kick. Myself and Brian East will have the call for that one right here on the home of UNA Athletics, WLX. Next up, we welcome in Megan Dye, Associate Athletic Director for Alumni, Annual Giving, and Marketing, beginning her 9th year at UNA now. Megan, thank you for coming to talk to us about all the great things happening with today's football game.
Thank you for having me.
Today marks the 20th anniversary of the September 11th, 2001 terrorist attacks, and the athletic department has several things planned today. I want to start off, when did you start planning for some of the festivities that we're going to have this evening?
Well, we got the idea, it was actually 2 years ago. We had a flyover for our homecoming game, and it just got my mind rolling, and it was such a unique experience. And I was like, I wonder if there'll be another opportunity for us to do this. And, I started looking at the calendar and saw that not only this year is a football game on 9/11, but it's the 20th anniversary of 9/11. So, what a unique opportunity to be able to do something special on that day for those that lost their lives and those that continue to serve every day. And we formed a committee back in March, so we've been meeting for quite a while now, just making sure that we do everything we can that day to make it special.
I know you guys had to do a lot to get the flyover. C-130 Hercules from the 908th Air Wing from Maxwell Air Force Base in Montgomery. Take us through that process and what it took to get that plane flying over Brawley this evening.
Wow, yes, that was an experience for sure. Colonel Riley Brewer, he gets all the credit for securing that. He made this project his baby and has worked ever since March to from filing the paperwork. You don't realize how much paperwork goes into it, and making sure that it's a safe place for them to fly over, and making sure that we get permission from the National Guard to be able to have it, and then finding a unit that's available to be able to do the flyover. We reached out to several different ones, and with the current events that have been taking place in Afghanistan, a lot of units were not able to assist. But about 2 weeks ago, we got that magic phone call from the 908th Air Wing out of Montgomery that said we're here to help, and we want to provide the support for this event. So that was a great day, really exciting, and the type of aircraft that they're bringing up here is just incredible. To be able to see that fly over Brawley Stadium today will be just incredible.
Now, fans that are coming, which direction do they need to look? Which way? Scoreboard side, other end zone? Can we give fans a clue as to where it will be coming from?
Yes, the home side will actually have the best view of it. It will be coming over the scoreboard side, kind of diagonal across the field, and then out over the baseball field. So if you're in the home stands, be looking towards your left for it to be coming, and if you're in the east stands, look towards your right.
Now, we're also slated to honor a lot of people throughout the game as well, but we did some things ticketing for people as well. Tell UNA fans and listeners sort of what the ticket office did to sort of honor people on this 9/11 Remembrance Day.
Right. So our military, our current military, our veterans, our National Guard, first responders, so that includes police officers, firefighters, and also, one thing that's unique to include with first responders on those, during those terrorist attacks, your flight attendants, your pilots, they were first responders that day. So, they're included in that group as well. And then, of course, our healthcare heroes, especially with everything they've done the past year with the pandemic. Anybody that falls into those categories received a complimentary ticket into the game. And so, we hope that, a lot of people took advantage of that to come out and enjoy the day.
We're talking with Megan Dye, Associate Athletic Director for Alumni, Annual Giving, and Marketing here at the University of North Alabama. In-game, a lot of people are slated to be honored. I don't know if we can run through all of them, but what are some of the things you're most excited about for the in-game honorees?
Well, the biggest thing between the first and second quarter, during that quarter break, we will have Major Dwayne Williams' family. His wife, Tammy, and his daughter, Kelsey, will be joining us on the field, and he lost his life at the Pentagon on 9/11. And I actually went to school with Kelsey, and when I first learned of her story when we were in high school, I couldn't imagine what she went through. And so I've always, kind of followed along with her on social media, even though, since we graduated. But they'll be coming, and it's we're just honored to be able to remember her dad that day because he also played football here. And there's an endowed scholarship in his memory that we encourage everybody to give to this weekend, just as a way to remember him. And to provide an opportunity for another, student to go to get an education. We also have Chandler Carrera coming back. He was our kicker a couple years ago. I'm sure a lot of people saw on the news where him and his partner pulled a man from a burning vehicle. They saved his life. The car exploded right after they got him out. So he's in Austin, Texas now, so we were tickled that he was able to come over and let us recognize him. We've got lots of former players, football players, baseball players. Riley Brewer, that I said helped with the flyover and on the committee. He's allowing us the opportunity to honor him. We've got the Florence Police Department that's going to be there. Just a lot of unique stories and a lot of unique things that people have done and how they've served, our country and our community.
And it also happens to be Band Day, so the Marching Pride has an extravaganza planned, and at halftime, there's going to be a fireworks show. I mean, there's so much great things happening. What are you most excited about for today's game?
Oh, I think it's just recognizing everybody in these groups. They all do such special things and have made such a huge impact in their own unique ways, and being able to recognize them and honor them and remember them, for what they've done, and just all of it in general, but, especially that piece of it. But like you mentioned, TNT Fireworks has been so gracious to do a fireworks show for us. You love fireworks, and as soon as we told them, about the day's festivities, they were like, how can we help? So as the band performs their extravaganza during halftime, with around 9-10 minutes into halftime, the fireworks show will start over on the baseball field. So it'll just be a nice touch and an opportunity for everybody to just come together and enjoy.
Certainly a jam-packed, fun-filled football game. I know I'm super excited about it. You oversee marketing as well. Let's talk social media for a second. How can fans keep up with all the great things happening with UNA Athletics?
Oh, follow us along on the UNA Athletics pages. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're always pushing content out there about game times, what's going to be going on. So be sure to follow along with us and keep up with what we're doing.
Megan Dye, thank you very much for the time.
Thanks for having me.
That's Associate Athletic Director for Alumni, Annual Giving, and Marketing here at the University of North Alabama Athletic Department, Megan Dye. We'll take another timeout. We'll keep the Purple and Gold Hour rolling when we return. More coverage to come right here on WLX.
I knew I wanted to do engineering from Best Robotics that I was in high school. I kind of learned what engineering had to offer, and I knew I was good at problem solving and things like that, good at math and science and stuff. I came to UNA and figured out what it was, what it had to offer. After learning about the program, it was exactly what I wanted to do. This program really prepares you to go into the industry, and it is preparing me for exactly the types of jobs I want to do. The community here is definitely different than other programs. I can call up really any of my professors or email them or just step in their office and knock on the door, and they're always available. And it's really more conducive for learning than other programs where, you're in a huge class or something like that.
I really had some aspirations that maybe they'd go to school here as well, because we're both alumni. We're just thrilled to see all three of our boys in school here.
A view of UNA that I've run into a lot is people say it's just, it's your own backyard, or, it's a little hometown school or something like that. But every school is in somebody's backyard, and there are people that go here and get the exact same internships and the same opportunities, and if not more opportunities, because we're a local school. And it was just something that I knew was a great fit for me.
I've always had an affinity for medicine and taking care of people. I love taking care of kids. Doctors don't really get that personal connection with patients that a nurse would. And that's what I like the most, and that's what I want to provide for other people. I'm majoring in nursing. Specifically, I want to go into pediatrics. My professors here in the College of Nursing are the most amazing professors I've ever had. They actually care about their students. They have all these resources and all these ways of helping. UNA just really goes the extra mile to help students get to where they want to be in life.
The Purple and Gold Hour, presented by the University of North Alabama Foundation, rolls on. Benjamin Ray back with you. We're taking you to kickoff between North Alabama and Chattanooga, coming up at 6 p.m. right here on WLX. But first, let's get back to your inside look and spotlight at all things related to the University of North Alabama. Our next guest is the Coordinator of Military and Veteran Affairs, Mr. Doug McClain. Doug, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
Oh, not a problem. Happy to be here, and I appreciate you guys coming out and covering all this.
We're going to get to know a little bit more about the veteran and military and veteran affairs here at the University of North Alabama. But first off, tell us a little bit about your background and how you ended up here at UNA.
Okay, so I'm a retired Air Force officer, 24 years, retired as a colonel, and we retired to the area 3 years ago. We never really lived here, but my wife's sister did, and so after I drug my wife around the world, to include living in Japan, Kenya, Portugal, Vegas, Ohio, Texas, you name it. It was basically, hey, babe, where do you want to retire to? And it was pretty simple that we were coming here.
So you've been all over the world, now here in Florence. What are your favorite things about the Shoals?
Oh, favorite things about the Shoals. So, well, number one, the people. Because, you know, it's great to just come to a nice, welcoming, friendly community. So I also like the culture, the climate. You know, after my wife, we both grew up in West Virginia. Once we made it to the South, her rule was, hey, I'm never going back up above the frost line. So we knew we were going to retire somewhat to the South. So the temperatures here are great. You know, I do like a little bit of all the seasons, and we get some of that here. So the people, the culture, the food, the golf, you know, I kind of played a lot of sports in college and after that, but now I'm so beat up, I pretty much stick to golf, and there's plenty of that here, and the hunting and fishing is great as well.
There certainly is some great golf courses around here. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about Veteran Affairs. What exactly do you guys do for veterans here at UNA?
Okay, so my position here is kind of twofold. So my primary position is I serve as the school certifying official. So anybody that has any type of federal VA GI Bill benefits, my job is kind of the liaison. I'm the go-between between the veteran and or the dependent that might have the benefits, the university and how the payments are transacted, and the VA to ensure that every beneficiary is getting all the benefits that they're due. Then we also have the Military and Veterans Service Center here, which I oversee, which we kind of have as basically a great initiative that Mr. Norbert Jennings and my predecessor, Michelle Daly, worked on with President Kitt's support. About 4 years ago it opened up, and it's kind of a safe haven here for all the non-traditional veterans and or their dependents. There's a lot of dependent spouses, and there's a lot of dependent children that are just comfortable around veterans and those types of people. So that's kind of what this place is. It's really a safe haven here for all our military-connected students.
Now, you guys strive to help students make the transition from active military duty to UNA. Just what exactly does that look like?
So again, basically, it's we understand that you're typically not the traditional 18, 19-year-old student that's coming out of high school and then they're moving on to college. You've gone out and done other things, so you may not necessarily have a lot in common with the people that you're seeing around here. So what we want is to offer up, hey, here's kind of a safe place where you can come, and you're going to be around people that have shared experiences, whether it be life experiences, age, you know, a lot of the veterans have children, so those types of things. So it's just to get them to understand you're not alone, okay? So going into those classes, and it's going to be different, as well as, you know, veterans understand to help each other out. So when it comes to, hey, you know, I'm looking at this class, here's my choices in professors, and, you know, you get some real dialogue from people that really understand that.
Now, I read online about the UNA Military and Veteran Alliance, and tell our listeners a little bit about that and the purpose that it serves.
Okay, so it's a school or organization, so it's all student veterans. And recently we've just changed the name to be more in line with the national, so it's the Student Veterans of America. But basically that is just those military-connected students here. It's an opportunity for them to put together, hey, this is kind of us, this is our club, this is our group, and the intent behind it is, number one, to draw those that may be marginalized, hey, thinking I'm kind of out here doing this by myself, hey, we've got other people here, let's kind of do some things, as well as one of the goals of the veterans is for the non-military related students, hey, we're veterans, but we're people too. Okay, so ideally we try to do some service things as well as a couple fun activities every school year. So it's not just the veterans themselves, it's also inviting the other students in so that they can understand, hey, yep, we're veterans, we've done some different things, but we're really just people. You don't need to be afraid of us. We don't all have PTSD. We're not all packing guns. That's not what we're about. We are normal people.
We're talking with the Coordinator of Military and Veteran Affairs, Mr. Doug McClain, here on the Purple and Gold Hour presented by the University of North Alabama Foundation. If listeners out there want to get involved, help out, support, make a donation, how can they do that?
Yeah, it's fairly simple. So they can either do something through the foundation. So we're in the process of setting up some scholarships for veterans and or their dependents, or if they want to make monetary donations to the Veterans Center. It's a fund, it's a discretionary fund that myself and the committee, we help just in case there's somebody out there that might have a need. But it also, we provide, we're able to provide just simple things like just some coffee and snacks and those things to the veterans up in here. So, and they can basically get a hold of me. My email is dmclean2@una.edu, or they can call me at 256-765-4971.
And there's a great link on the website as well, una.edu. And I found some of the frequently asked questions about Veteran Affairs, and I thought we'd talk about a couple of those. First and foremost, how can one get their VA benefits started here at UNA?
Okay, again, the federal benefits, basically, again, that's my job, is to help them, okay? All the resources are out there, but they can be kind of daunting if you're just trying to figure it out. So basically, everything starts with, hey, am I eligible for the benefit? I need to apply for it. And I can help people go through the va.gov website and how they apply for their benefits. Once they receive the certificate saying that they have the benefits, then they work with me. And I'm the one that basically I certify to the VA that, hey, all the courses somebody's taking are required. Here's what the charges are, tuition and fees, pay those, whether it's or maybe a monthly stipend or just a simple book stipend. So basically it's just get the certificate through the VA, which I can help them with that, and then they provide it to me, and I kind of take care of the rest.
Now, I think some people would be surprised to know some of the extra things you guys do for students are things that they're eligible for. I know we've had some students come through working for us that have received a lot of support for you guys. So what other opportunities are there for veterans to use your services?
Okay, well, and honestly, there's a couple of things that I'm really excited about that the university rolled out this year. Right now, we just started offering a military hero scholarship. So any veteran, whether they're serving currently in the Guard, Reserve, or they're a vet or active duty, or they're a true veteran no longer serving, they were eligible for a 25% discount on their tuition for any graduate program, or a 25% discount for any online undergraduate program. So there's that. The other things they can do, we also have the ability to hire some students through the federal VA work study program. Okay, so people come in and they help me to help other veterans, man the office and the services here, and it's basically an allotment program, so it's not taxable or anything like that. So I can hire a few people there. So it's the other things, basically, we're just here to try to help and support any way that we can.
Is there anything we haven't covered? Anything else that people should know about Veteran Affairs at the University of North Alabama?
No. One thing that is important, and what I like about working at UNA here is, yes, we're kind of over here on the side, but we're tied into everybody, whether it's admissions, financial aid, the Success Center, Learning Center, counseling services. Everybody's tied in. And all I have to do, if anybody needs any support, is just make one phone call, send one email, and the people are there ready to respond.
Now, today is the 20th anniversary of 9/11, and at this football game this evening, UNA has a lot planned, from a flyover, a fireworks show honoring military and first responders. For you, a veteran, retired from the Air Force, what does it mean to see this kind of support on a day like this?
I think it's great because, it's easy to say, never forget, but it's days like today that helps remind us to absolutely never forget. For my generation, the events that transpired on 9/11, it's probably what it was for my parents' generation when JFK, was shot and killed. It's something that is tragic, but we need to learn from it, but we never need to forget to ensure that we understand what we're doing. And UNA going out of their way to do what they're doing today, it's very special, especially to me, having served on 9/11.
Certainly is a special day. It's going to be a great evening at Brawley Stadium. Last thing for you, tell us exactly where people can go, social media, website, to keep up with you guys.
Yeah, they can go to UNA, the una.edu, and they simply can search on Veterans Affairs or Veterans, and we've got it locked in, so everything will lead them straight to our website.
That's great. That's Doug McClain, Coordinator of Military and Veteran Affairs here at the University of North Alabama. Thank you so much for sharing all of this information with us.
No, great. Thank you for having me.
We'll take one more time out. We'll keep things rolling here on the Purple and Gold Hour, brought to you by the University of North Alabama Foundation.
I came to UNA and figured out kind of what it was, what it had to offer. After learning about the program, it was exactly what I wanted to do. This program really prepares you to go into the industry, and it is preparing me for exactly the types of jobs I want to do. People say it's just, it's your own backyard, or, it's a little hometown school or something like that. But every school is in somebody's backyard, and there are people that go here and get the exact same internships and the same opportunities, and if not more opportunities, because we're a local school. And it was just something that I knew was a great fit for me.
I've always had an affinity for medicine and taking care of people. I love taking care of kids. Doctors don't really get that personal connection with patients that a nurse would. And that's what I like the most, and that's what I want to provide for other people. I'm majoring in nursing. Specifically, I want to go into pediatrics. My professors here in the College of Nursing are the most amazing professors I've ever had. They actually care about their students. They have all these resources and all these ways of helping. UNA just really goes the extra mile to help students get to where they want to be in life.
My whole life has been about making an impact. Not just on the field, but in the world around me. My high school Spanish teacher helped me find my true calling to educate and serve others all over the world. I used to think the biggest college was the best place to start, but my search brought me to North Alabama. At UNA, my story matters, and so does my calling.
I realized that there was a lot of just business, just the day-to-day business of the chamber that I did not feel particularly comfortable in. There was an opportunity at UNA to pursue my MBA and thought that it might be a really good idea just to bolster that side of my education. Professors were so understanding and willing to work with us. I realized then I had made the right choice, that UNA was the correct institution for me. I've never talked to anyone who's gone forward with their education who regretted that decision. It's not been easy every day, but totally worth it at all times.
You're listening to the Purple and Gold Hour, your inside look at the University of North Alabama, sponsored by the North Alabama Advancement Office. I'm Benjamin Ray, back with you, getting set for North Alabama and Chattanooga to play inside of Brawley Stadium, slated for kickoff just past 6 p.m. Of course, we'll have the call of that ball game right here on WLX with Seth Kane and Jacob Tucker. There's a lot going on surrounding this afternoon's football game. Today's game is a 9/11 remembrance game. Military, first responders, and healthcare workers are all being honored today throughout the football game. And our next guest is a former UNA football player. The last time he was in Brawley Stadium, he was kicking a game-winning field goal on his senior day. Now he's being honored for his work as a police officer in Austin, Texas. Chandler Carrera, thank you for being our next guest and giving us your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So Chandler, let's go back just a little bit, back to the month of May. You're a police officer in Austin, and you sort of made some national headlines responding to a vehicle that was on fire. But in your own words, I'll let you sort of tell the story to our listeners, if you will.
Yeah, so me and my partner were doubled up riding around that day, and right around, I believe it was 3 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we received a call about a vehicle on fire and somebody may possibly still be in the vehicle. Me and my partner were close, and we were actually on our way to another call, so we had to preempt off of that and go to the fire. We were able to get there first, and while we were driving there, we were able to see the black smoke kind of coming up from where the location was, and then once we got on scene, it looked like the car was engulfed in flames. My partner got out. I went to the back of the vehicle to get the fire extinguisher, and while we were running towards the vehicle, you could hear witnesses in the complex say that there was somebody still inside. My partner quickly realized that once we broke open the window, and I provided some kind of protection with the fire extinguisher, and then once we got the door open, pulled him out. It seemed like a few seconds later, it looked like the rear end of the vehicle exploded a little bit. But we were able to get him away and get him to the proper medical aid and all that. So.
What was it like seeing just all the response and attention that some of those videos that were posted of it received?
It was bizarre for us, definitely. I know we had a conversation on scene about it. Like, we didn't really think it was that crazy, but that kind of happens. We get a little desensitized to crazy stuff because we see it every day, and so we didn't think it was going to blow up as much as it did. But ours was videotaped a lot, so it was put out by several other outlets, and it just kind of took off from there.
We're talking with former North Alabama kicker Chandler Carrera. He's on the 2017 and 2018 UNA football teams, the final Division II team and the first Division I football team. Now, your last time in Brawley Stadium, Chandler, you kicked a game-winning field goal on your senior day. I want to go back to that in just a second, but now today you're getting recognized from the alumni office, the athletic department as well. How does it feel to be back in Brawley Stadium, where later this afternoon you'll be honored by your school?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to coming back to town and seeing all my former teammates and getting to eat the great food that I missed down there. Just looking forward to reconnecting with people and getting to be back in that environment. Because, like I said, I haven't been there since the senior night, at least in the stadium, and then I haven't been on campus in about 2 years. So I'm looking forward to be back and just kind of reconnect with people.
So what was your journey to Alston, where you became a police officer, like once you graduated from North Alabama?
Yeah, the process was set in motion actually right after the last game senior year. I applied, had to do some prerequisite testing and stuff like that, and then a month after I graduated from UNA, I was already starting the academy in June. So it was a pretty quick turnaround. That's kind of what I wanted. I didn't want to be laying around all day and waiting to go to work. I wanted to go to work and start my career. So,
tell us a little bit about being a police officer and what it's been like working to the community to this point over there in Alston.
It's been great. Obviously, it's different times than when I first graduated with everything that happened last summer, and COVID has been a challenge for all of us. But at the end of the day, people still call 911, they need help, and that's kind of why we decided to be police officers and what motivates us to keep going, So that's what we just have to remind ourselves when it kind of can get rough sometimes. Just keep going.
We're on the phone lines with former UNA football player Chandler Carrera. He's set to be honored this afternoon during the ball game against Chattanooga. All right, let's go back to your football playing days. You came to North Alabama from Glenville State. What drew you to the University of North Alabama to play football?
A bunch of things. Coach King, he was one of the main things. Is UNA was one of the only schools that had a kicking coach, and that was kind of big because it's not really common at the Division II or even Division I FCS level where we were moving to. That's not really common, and so having that voice on the coaching staff directly for kickers and specialists, and also having that extra set of eyes and point of view to see what mistakes might be tweaked and technique that can be changed. So that was a big reason. And as soon as I visited, I liked warm weather, so that was a big thing. And then the great food. Seemed like everyone was really nice, and it was a good kind of homey environment that I loved and reminded me of my hometown of Charlottesville, Virginia. So all in all, it was just all of those things combined.
So your first year at UNA was the last year of Division II football. You hit 13 of your 17 kicks, scored 61 total points that year, and you went on a ridiculous run too, where you hit 10, 11 straight field goals at one point. Anything stand out from your first year at UNA?
Yeah, I mean, a ton of things. I remember I had a pretty rough start, and I thank Coach Willis to still believing in me and letting me go back and kind of give me the opportunity to correct that. And luckily I was able to, and the only miss after that first game was a block kick, I think up in Washington. So it was a good run, and obviously after that kind of gained my teammates' trust back again, and then from there it was just, again, you have that support, you have the coach's support, and you feel that it's easier to make kicks on Saturdays. So
We're on the phone lines with former North Alabama football player Chandler Carrera. And then what was it like being part of the first ever Division I football team in 2018?
It was, again, super fun. I enjoyed every second of it. Being a senior, it was a little bittersweet because I wanted to come back and play more seasons and keep going with the Division I team. And traveling to all the schools that we did that year, to Utah, to North Dakota State, and then playing those games at home for the first time as a Division I school was really special to be a part of, and I'll remember that for the rest of my life.
I always like asking people about their memories from that first Division I football game. A win against Southern Utah. Dexter Boykin had the game-winning touchdown catch late in that ball game. But you got any memories from that big moment?
Yeah, I remember when he made that catch, and even in that game it was a lot of firsts. So it was our first ever Division I game. So luckily, myself, Joe holding the ball, and everybody blocking and everything, we were able to get the first points as a field goal for our Division I team. So, and then obviously the crazy game that went with that. They were a ranked team, and we were unranked, just going into that division. So we were the underdogs, and we were able to win, which was super special. Had family there that lived in Washington, so everything all in all was super special.
2 game-winning field goal kicks that year. First, a 38-yarder against Azusa Pacific. Then on senior day, 44 yards out to give North Alabama a final win that year over North Greenville. Those 2 game winners, can you take us back to that? Were you feeling a lot of pressure?
Yeah, I mean, in those situations, you kind of, after the kick, you kind of don't really remember it. You just kind of go up there, your muscle memory takes over, and you hit it. The one at Azusa Pacific, I believe that was our first home game back, which made it even more special to be able to do that. And again, that one kind of the clock wound down after the kick, so that made it even more special, And then the one on senior night was an interesting one because I think part of the snap or the hold was a little bit fumbled, so it was actually a hesitation on my part, and it ended up being, instead of a 2-step field goal, which is what I normally do, it was just a 1-step that I had to do, which is not something that is typical, and it doesn't happen often, but that's why you train it in case it does happen. And luckily, we were still able to get it to go through the pipes and win the game. So,
does it make it even more memorable against North Greenville that it was your final collegiate kick?
Yes, yeah, it was my final field goal, and it was, you dream about stuff like that, getting at least 1 game winner, and to be able to get 2 in my senior year, and 1 being on senior night and 1 being on the first ever home game for being Division I. I mean, you can't really ask for a better end to my career than that. So I'm grateful for having those opportunities.
Certainly a great career at North Alabama, a great law enforcement career as well happening in Austin, Texas. Chandler Carrera, thanks for joining us here on the phone on the Purple and Gold Hour.
If I had to pick one thing about UNA that made me want to come here, it would just be campus and the life that you see on campus. With UNA just being so close, that's not what I thought that I wanted. And so when I came and I realized I'm still going to have the same opportunities as someone who went to a larger university, that was one of the things that drew me in.
Benjamin Ray back with you here on the wrap-up of the Purple and Gold Hour presented by the North Alabama Foundation. Your inside look at the University of North Alabama. It's been a jam-packed episode, a lot of great information as we get set for our 9/11 Remembrance Game here on the 20th anniversary. Thanks again to Major Deshaun D. Warren, the Department Chair of the UNA ROTC program, to Megan Dye, the Associate Athletic Director for Alumni, Annual Giving, and Marketing. She did a great job putting together all of today's festivities. Doug McClain, enjoyed talking with him about military and veteran services. And also a special shout out to Chandler Carrera, who will be honored today inside of Brawley Stadium, for joining us on the phone line to talk about his role as a police officer in Austin, Texas, and some of the great things he's done over there. So that's going to do it for another episode of the Purple and Gold Hour. Thanks for listening. When we return, Seth Kane and Jacob Tucker will get you ready for kickoff. North Alabama and Chattanooga coming up right around the corner. This has been the Purple and Gold Hour, brought to you by the North Alabama Foundation.
This has been the Purple and Gold Hour, presented by the University of North Alabama Foundation. Thanks for listening, and remember that you can catch the Purple and Gold Show 2 hours prior to every football game right here on 98.3 WLX, the home of the Lions. Roar Lions!